Assalamu alaikum. Beautiful night in Lahore. Today is 18th of January 2026. I was saying that, in the left hand side, there would be income variable. On the right hand side, there would be three independent variable institutions uh, plus globalization variable, which is exports plus imports, plus productivity variable. Now, can be a lot of econometric strategies to understand whether rule of law is the most significant variable to determine economic growth rate in any country. It would depend on a lot of things. The data set, whether you are taking cross-section data set, which is a large sample of developed and developing countries, or time series data set, for example, for selected number of countries or for any one single country, for example, in Pakistan. And it will be the variation would be as per time dimension. For example, you can take 50 years of data, or it could be a panel data, which is the mix of cross section time series data. For example, here, let's assume we have cross section or panel data. What it means is that assume we are taking both developed and developing countries for both income and institutions, which is rule of law, as well as globalization, as well as number of years of schooling. Now, one economic strategy would be to consider globalization and productivity variable as control variables. Whereas what you do is you take multiple institutional proxies. For example, Kaufman et al. Would introduce at least six institutional proxies. It is not only rule of law, but it is control for corruption, voice and accountability, regulatory equality. So these institutional variables would enter into the equation one by one, the, the basic equation. For example, first, it will be income is the function of rule of law, whereas control variables will remain globalization and productivity. Then in the second equation, instead of rule of law, it will be control for corruption, and then it will be regulatory equality. So how it appears is that the significant count for regulatory equality is far more than what rule of law would suggest. And this is something which is in addition to the popular institution rule paper of Professor Danny Roderick of Harvard Kennedy School, as well as it would extend the work of Darren Ayumoglu of MIT, as well as would be an extension of Paul Romer's paper. So that is how you then create multiple matrices and parallel equations for a single algorithmic equation, which inherently is already nonlinear.